By the way, it does not matter who's sitting in the speaker's seat or who's got the majority. We keep doing the same stupid stuff.
So the MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives are very angry. What else is new? But they're particularly angry, and you heard MAGA Republican Chip Roy again just being very critical of the Republican Party, because what just happened was the House of Representatives passed a continuing resolution which will continue to fund the government through March. This by a vote of 314 to 108 against. The MAGA Republicans in the House, including Elise Stefanik, who used to view herself as a moderate before she does everything that Donald Trump tells her to do, including calling the January 6th insurrectionist hostages. These MAGA Republicans voted against funding the government. By the way, that's what led to Kevin McCarthy getting ousted. So now all these MAGA Republicans are also calling for their speaker, Mike Johnson, to be removed because he passed this or helped pass this continuing resolution, which, by the way, would not have actually been passed were it not for the Democrats. So the same way Kevin McCarthy had to rely on Democrats to fund the government, to keep our government working, so did Mike Johnson has to rely on the Democrats. Let me show you Republican Warren Davidson, what he has to say. Then I'm going to show you what Democrats are saying. Finally, Democrats are going on the offense. It's great. But this is Republican Warren Davidson. I mean, they're just scripting ads at this point for Democrats in the pro-democracy community. Play this clip.
But now when we have the chance to govern, it seems we've lost our resolve. And who's getting hurt by this? The American people.
Oh, I'll have to show you one more. I mean, speaking of scripting ads for the Democrats, or just like demonstrating what an abhorrent, despicable person you are. Here's what Matt Gaetz had to say about women voters leaving the Republican Party, and notice how he refers to African American and Hispanic voters. Play this clip.
What I could tell you is, like, for every Karen we lose, there's a Julio and a Jamal ready to sign up for the MAGA movement, and that bodes well for our ability to be more diverse and to be more durable as we head into.
Okay, compare what you just saw there, and sorry I had to show you that, but I think it's important that you see the difference here. Let's compare that to Democratic Congressmember Eric Swalwell. Let's see what Congressmember Swalwell has to say about how Democrats are just trying to get things done. We're trying to reach compromises and solutions, whether it's on the border or other policies, but MAGA Republicans just want to whine and complain and play the victim, so they're trying to destroy all of these kind of compromises, actual policies from being implemented. Congressmember Swalwell says it great. Play the clip.
So then you have, just recently on CNN, Jake Tapper asked Speaker Johnson, look, President Biden wants to give you more money at the border. Would you take that? And Speaker Johnson said no. Again, just revealing and saying out loud what we all know, which is that they don't want to solve this problem. They want to use it and exploit victims so they have a political narrative. Senate negotiations are taking place right now where, in good faith, Democrats and Republicans are working to try and find more solutions and more resources at the border. And that is dead on arrival here, where Republican colleagues have said out loud, we're never going to support that. That would help the president. They've actually said that. My Democratic colleagues want the fix. MAGA Republicans want the fiction. My Democratic colleagues want the fix. My MAGA colleagues want Fox. My Democratic colleagues want the fix. My MAGA colleagues want the fame. That's what this is entirely about. And if you have any questions.
And here is the Democratic Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, who is leading right now. Again, it's a different Democratic Party now. For everyone out there who's been saying, I wish these Democrats go on the offense. I want Democrats who are good messengers. I want these pit bull Democrats. That's what we're seeing. We've been highlighting it here a lot on the MeidasTouch Network, but let me show you what Hakeem Jeffries has to say. Democrat Minority Leader. Play the clip.
Extreme MAGA Republicans rejected any effort to make sure that young women on college campuses were provided information about the full range of reproductive health care. Extreme MAGA Republicans rejected the effort to provide the young women of America with information about the dangers of a miscarriage. Extreme MAGA Republicans rejected the efforts by House Democrats to make sure that the young women of America were provided information about contraceptives. Why? Because House Republicans have only one objective: a nationwide abortion ban. And this legislation is part of that effort. And that's why instead of the Congress dealing with issues related to the economy or housing or inflation or public safety or health care, House Republicans have us voting on bills to undermine a woman's freedom to make her own reproductive health care decisions. And so I strongly urge everyone to reject this extreme piece of legislation and join us in trying to uplift women, children, and families in America. And our promise to the country is as follows. House Democrats will stand strongly behind reproductive freedom today. We will stand strongly behind reproductive freedom tomorrow. We will stand strongly behind a woman's freedom to make her own reproductive health care decisions forever until we crush the extreme MAGA Republican effort to criminalize abortion care. I yield back.
And here you have Democratic Congressmember Dan Goldman during a House floor speech calling for Elise Stefanik to be censured because she refers to the January 6th insurrectionists as patriots and as hostages. It's horrific language. And so Dan Goldman, Democrat, saying, if you're going to refer to terrorists as heroes and hostages, you should be censured. Here, play this clip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to introduce a resolution to censure Congresswoman Elise Stefanik for providing aid, comfort, and support to the rioters and insurrectionists who violently attacked this Capitol on January 6, 2021, in an effort to undermine our democracy and illegally stop the peaceful transfer of power. Since that attempted coup, Ms. Stefanik has repeatedly and persistently expressed support for the duly convicted insurrectionists. Last week, echoing the inflammatory language of criminal defendant Donald Trump, Ms. Stefanik disgracefully referred to the January 6 insurrectionists in prison as, quote, hostages, unquote. Ms. Stefanik's support of convicted criminals charged with offenses against the United States government, including attempted violence against members of this body, is simply unacceptable from a member of Congress. Nor is it acceptable for a member of Congress who purports to oppose anti-Semitism to equate convicted insurrectionists with the more than 130 Israeli hostages who remain subject to horrific conditions in Gaza. She therefore must be censured. I yield back.
I know from a lot of the emails that you send me that a lot of you watching and listening are entrepreneurs. You run your own business, and you know I run a business too, the MeidasTouch Network. So I know how hard it is to manage your numbers, manage the trends in the market, and budget everything. Your business gets to a certain size and the cracks start to emerge. Things you used to do in a day are now taking a week. You have too many manual processes and you don't have one source of truth. If this is you, you need to know these three numbers: 37,000, 25, and 1. Okay, 37,000. That's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, streamlining accounting, financial management, inventory, HR, and more. 25. NetSuite turns 25 this year. That's 25 years of helping businesses do more with less, close their books in days, not weeks, and drive down costs. And 1, because your business is one of a kind. So you get a customized solution for all of your key performance indicators, KPIs, in one efficient system with one source of truth. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Everything you need to grow all in one place. The power of having all the information in one place to make better decisions and the unprecedented offer NetSuite is providing has been a game changer for us here at MeidasTouch. And I think it will also be a major game changer for you and your business. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist designed to give you consistently excellent performance absolutely free at netsuite.com/Meidas. That's netsuite.com/Meidas, netsuite.com/Meidas to get your own KPI checklist. That's netsuite.com/Meidas. Check it out. And by the way, Elise Stefanik responded to that pose, people criticizing her pose a threat to our democracy, blah, blah, blah. I mean, look, if you're supporting insurrectionists, you are a threat to a democracy. If Elise Stefanik, you support what went down on January 6th, I don't know how else to say this, that makes you a traitor to our nation. It was not a peaceful and patriotic day. It was a date that will forever live in infamy. And if you are supportive of that behavior, as Donald Trump is telling you to, that speaks volumes about who you are. Want to show you this here. Democratic Congress member Maxwell Frost going on the offense. Play the clip.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today because yesterday I issued a challenge to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to stop lying and be honest about what they actually mean when they're talking about changes to our immigration system and at the border. And it looks like they're taking my advice. Let's look at this board. I've got a fellow Floridian on the record saying she wants, quote, wants family separation, end quote. Seems like a nice sentiment coming from someone who's a new mother. We've got our infamous colleague from Florida, or from Georgia, saying that she, quote, can't wait for mass deportations to start on day one of the Trump administration. And then we have the criminally indicted former president himself saying that he wants to scrap birthright U.S. citizenship. I want to remind everybody that the promise of this country, the promise written on the Statue of Liberty, is one that welcomes all folks who are most vulnerable with open arms, like my mother did when she came here from Cuba as a refugee and asylum seeker. Republicans in the House need to stop lying to the American people. And if you don't believe in the promise of this country or our values, you don't believe in the beacon of hope, which is the Statue of Liberty.
Time has expired.
Thank you.
Here, Democratic Congress member Robert Garcia going on the offense against these MAGA Republicans. Play the clip.
Mr. Speaker, I recently joined colleagues in the House Oversight Committee in releasing a report confirming what we've known all along, that Donald Trump and his family, especially the Kushners, participated in the largest presidential grift in history. We have records of 20 foreign governments funding millions through Trump properties and into Donald Trump's pockets while he was president, all in violation of the U.S. Constitution, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. We've only been able to access payments and illegal gifts from 4 Trump properties. Trump owns hundreds of properties and businesses. And despite the attempted cover-ups, we can still prove that Trump and Jared Kushner were making national security decisions while he and his family were getting bribes and paid by the same foreign powers. Millions were being spent by countries like China and Saudi Arabia. We need immediate answers on why Jared Kushner got a $2 billion investment fund just months after leaving the White House. We've been raising the alarm on this issue over and over. The corruption is unacceptable, and we must hold the Trump crime family
Gentleman's
accountable.
time has expired.
Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. For what purpose?
And this is what MAGA has. It's just fear-mongering. That's all they're doing, is trying to create fear. And here is Steve Bannon, hosts the very widely MAGA viewed in the MAGA world. They watch this. This is one of their big podcasts, the Steve Bannon Show. Steve Bannon, who's been found liable for contempt of Congress, who was pardoned by Donald Trump for felonies as part of the We Build the Wall fraud, where he received lots of money for engaging in that fraud, and he was pardoned by Trump. He's being criminally prosecuted in New York, but this is who hosts the main podcast for all of the MAGA people. Here's what Steve Bannon has to say about Mike Johnson. Play this clip.
They're going to jam in a CR. This shows you the irresponsibility. If Johnson pulls these tricks, hey, our thing is get rid of him. Go. You're not the man for the moment. And people say, Steve, you can't say they just got in. No. A leader will emerge. That's what happens in these turnings. Leaders emerge.
And here's the thing, folks, with Mike Johnson. I, for one, am glad that MAGA Mike Johnson is passing this continuing resolution that the government is going to continue to be funded. But MAGA Mike has previously gone on shows, he went on Fox and others, and said that he's speaking to Donald Trump, who's basically told him to not make any deals on the border. The fact that Democrats and Republicans in the Senate are trying to reach bipartisan solutions on the border to actually address the problem, as you heard the Democrats, talking about, trying to address the problem. MAGA Republicans just want to whine about the problem. That's so typical Trump and MAGA, to just whine about a problem and not fix it. But here's MAGA Mike Johnson. Play this clip.
The president actually just got off the phone with me right before the show, and he said he has spoken to you about this deal and that he is against it, and he urged you to be against this deal. He was President Trump was extremely adamant about that. Your reaction to that, given the fact that, look, he knows how to do this enforcement stuff. You don't need some new bill coming out of the Senate to get the border enforced.
Yeah, President Trump is not wrong. He and I have been talking about this pretty frequently. I talked to him night before last about the same subject. We don't have the text of whatever the Senate has cooked up yet. And so we have to reserve judgment, I think, to see what comes out of it. It doesn't sound good.
So there you have it, folks. And I think MAGA Mike just has to realize, look, if the others in MAGA want to oust him for doing good for America, then so be it. You don't have power if you have to constantly kiss the petulant child, wannabe fascist Donald Trump's ring. That's not power. Kevin McCarthy may have been speaker, but he had zero power because he had to do whatever Donald Trump told him to do. So at some point, you have to just say, hey, is this border bill perfect? Is this border bill the greatest thing? Is it a start? Will it be helpful? Can we come up with bipartisan solutions and create a framework to solve the issue? That's what governing is all about. And in MAGA world, governing is all about just like whining, and whining about like what a loser you are. That's really like I was told growing up, one, you should be a person of your word, which MAGA isn't, and two, just like, okay, stop running around whining, like take personal responsibility and pass policies and be a leader, do things that leaders are supposed to do. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.
Hey Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.